taller than this on with the part. You
gonna do the mumble pie? That's good.
Do the mumble pie, boy.
I'm glad. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we're rolling.
Good.
So now I'm finally on this camera. Now they can all kind of see what's really going on.
I want them to see what's going on.
Want to finally see what's really been happening and stuff behind the scenes.
The real deal, Holyfield.
The real deal of the 4Sight Studio podcast.
It's just the 4Sight podcast. See, why do you always get that wrong?
Well, because I read the sign that says 4Sight Studio.
But do you read the captions and everything that says 4Sight podcast? That's the name of the podcast. This is the 4Sight podcast, not the 4Sight Studio podcast. The 4Sight podcast. There's a difference. It is produced by 4Sight Studio, but it has its own name, its own identity, its own everything. And in fact, are we rolling? Are we rolling? I don't know why you stopped recording.
I didn't stop recording.
Good.
I'm just checking the levels and checking the camera.
Oh, good, because we're going to keep all of this. I promise you, we keeping all of this. This is actually how I want to do the pods from now on, just talking.
See, I'm glad that you all get a chance to see what I kind of really be doing. See, this is why I'm never really on the on the footage, because I'm back here working all the stuff for the man and stuff. I'm like running around having to do everything.
I've completely and always said you're like Terminator X. You speak with your hands.
Now it's the Valley of the Jeep beats.
It's Valley of the Jeep beats.
Okay, cool. I'm actually gonna go buy a new Jeep this spring.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
I never got one. I always wanted one, but I knew my grandmother wouldn't have been able to get it out that thing.
What is it about St. Louis and Jeeps? It's like a whole Jeep culture here.
Yeah, it is. That's what makes it hip, though.
It makes it hip.
Yeah.
You gonna get it. You gonna get it. The New Jack City Nino Brown Jeep.
Why not?
I'm just saying that's the type you gonna get. Take it back.
Yeah.
Oh snap. Gonna just roll up on the spot, get called beep beep, have G Money drop in.
Right, and I'm gonna sit there and ride up down to the store, and somebody gonna bring me some rice out in a bag with some crab ragoon. Then I'm gonna ride up to the next spot, stop at the dollar store. They already gonna have my candy in the bag. I'm gonna high five the cashier. I might stop at the barbecue place. They gonna bring me out another bag.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull around. Somebody gonna shine the car.
Let's shoot that. Hey, I'm not mad at you on that one, bro.
And be like, who sent you? David Gordon sent me.
Don't say that. Don't put my name in it.
David Gordon sent me all of this.
No.
Send me over here.
No, this is a Lamar. That's Lamar Harris.
I cannot confirm or deny anything.
Oh, so what's up, man? How's it been? Why are you looking at me like that?
Life. Will it take me under? I don't know. That's how it is.
That's how it's been. It's been rough, bro.
No, it's been rough. We've been making it.
Yeah, we've been making it.
I don't know what we making it to, but we making it.
Well, it's been a lot going on, man. First, I guess I gotta address a couple things. Yes, the podcast has been off the internet waves for about a couple weeks now, so haven't gone anywhere. We just I had to take a minute and recompartmentalize and change some things, bro. It's I wasn't liking the direction, so to speak, and it just so happened I had the last podcast I did was kind of more in the vein of what I was wanting to do with this show. And this is why I wanted to take it more conversational and away from.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't invited.
You were invited.
I wasn't invited.
We did the pre-show where we talked about it. You said you were not going to be able to be here, and as long as I was doing it over Zoom, it should have been no problem, which it was not a problem. But because...
Oh, so you fired me for Zoom.
No, I did not fire you for Zoom. First of all, the Zoom sound doesn't sound nothing like when we have the whole Lamar Harris setup. You kind of like you like Black Parks.
And for those of you all wondering, I'm actually using this new EOS R courtesy of the 4Sight podcast.
Well, that's courtesy of 4Sight Studio. Got to get it right. Remember, the podcast is produced by 4Sight Studio, but it's the 4Sight Pod.
See, at first the podcast was produced by a super producer, but see, I got faded out because of Zoom and stuff like that.
No, you didn't get faded out. You're still the super producer, Lamar Harris, and you always will be. And you're always going to be the super producer producing this podcast. I don't even know why you tripping over the fact that I had to do a podcast over Zoom, because you have 450 jobs. Hey, man. And you were not able to do that podcast, and you said to me, and I quote, as long as just do it over Zoom, it should be all right. And I said, okay, Lamar, I don't really want to do it over Zoom. I mean, I could have used the good sound and everything. We had to do it over Zoom because guest was in Minnesota, but it's all good. It's all good. It'll work. We'll make it work. Now, sound wise, the pod was it was a little yeah.
Yeah. This is what happens when you don't have the sound engineer here and he doesn't get invited to do the podcast.
No.
They fired him because of Zoom.
No. This is what happened when the sound engineer is too busy to do the podcast and then says, just do it over Zoom, it'll be all right. Once again, he said it'll be all right.
I left the schedule open.
You ain't leave the schedule.
And what you want me to do?
Well, one, the guest had scheduling issues. We had to work around her schedule,
and that's great. Which we should.
We should. And normally, if I can have you here to do that, I would definitely have you here. But you were having schedule conflicts because you were maintaining a thriving business, to be honest with you, which is pretty cool. To be perfectly honest with you, you're doing your thing.
Is this the segue for me to talk about the business? This is what it's segue.
Nah, we're not segueing for anything. We're talking about what we talk about right now. So we had to do the pod over the weekend, which is really the worst time in the world for you. Well, and I know that, but it was like it was the only time I could record the pod.
I know.
And that was it. So before you run with this narrative and tell everybody that's listening that I have fired you, no, I have not fired the super producer Lamar Harris. He's not going anywhere unless he pisses me off. I do reserve that right. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing. Oh, goodness gracious. But yeah, so we had to take a bit of a hiatus. The last pod was closer to what I wanted it to be, but it still needed some tweaking and things like that. And to be honest with you, this pod is pretty much going exactly the way I want it to go right now.
Us sitting there rambling for about like 20 minutes.
Just rambling, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about some things, of course, and we'll just bring up subjects that are important to us. But honestly, I wanted it to be more about just a couple artists, whatever genre of art that you're in. Two artists just really kind of chopping it up and really getting into the I don't want to ask no more what's your superhero backstory and all that.
That's a good question though.
I don't care about that question anymore.
What's your superhero backstory? What's your origin?
Yeah,
what's your kryptonite?
That's so formulaic, whatever. Do
superheroes cry?
Well, obviously they did. If you watch WandaVision, obviously they do.
Of course we watched WandaVision.
You watched it?
Yeah. What did you think of WandaVision? I
loved it, man. You know what I loved about it? It was so different because I think people get, again, it's the formula. The villain, the drama or whatever drama, the resolution, and then obviously everybody has to come together to fight the villain, and that happened, but it's how they got there that made it better for me. The whole TV motif going through,
that was dope,
man.
That was dope.
And I just love that idea of how they built the story out through that.
The only thing I would say I was a little disappointed in was I wish they would have introduced Adam Brashear, so we could have had Blue Marvel. If we'd have had Blue Marvel,
so
it'd have been just. I'd have
How are they going to introduce the Blue Marvel in that particular series?
They could have introduced him as the guest engineer, astrophysicist that would have supplied the tank. They could have slid him back in somehow.
Yeah.
They could have did a whole bunch of stuff.
They could have. I'm actually glad they didn't. I'm glad that they swerved everybody, including myself. I'm glad they swerved everybody.
But you wanted Mr. Fantastic.
I mean, it would have been like. Here's the thing: all the internet theories would have been cool if they came true. But the one thing I like about this is the fact that they were just like, nah, we're gonna go in the direction that we want to go, and that's huge. I like that when creators are like, look, man, I understand what y'all are saying, but you don't run the show. We run the show, and we're gonna take it in the direction we're gonna take it in, and you're just gonna have to buckle up and get on for the ride. So I think sometimes we're a little too entitled as the fandom. So you don't think the fandom's too entitled?
No, I think we're supposed to be able to, like, it's good when directors and people are listening to what the fans kind of want to a certain degree.
Yeah, but what happens when the ideas are ass?
I said to a certain degree, not everything, but just, ideas can be hit or miss. But there's I felt they did a lot of good fan service. Like you look at the first episode. I kept thinking like, okay, maybe Nightmare is kind of behind this. Maybe they're gonna do something a little different and spin this a tad bit differently. And it just kind of kept you on your toes, which I thought was pretty cool. So
well, the thing about it is that's the great thing about this. That was the great thing about that series, was that it did keep you on your toes, and it had you wondering, well, if it's this or if it's this, and then you had to go through the ups and downs and the emotional ups and downs. Like, oh, they didn't do this. Oh, they gave us photon. Oh, they didn't do this though. So I just feel like sometimes the fans need to understand that they need to be fans. And the way that you become a fan is that you have to sit back and let the story unfold. If you have an idea and everything like that, that's nice, but you can't telepathically broadcast that idea into the creator's heads. So that's what they have fan fiction for. And we got what's that show? 50 Shades of Grey out of fan fiction. Out of Twilight fan fiction on top of that. That's that's how they came. That was Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah, but
No, but see, that's where fans can do their thing. But
when you think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's just like it's so big. And when you think about it, for is like dealing with the comic books, it can be so much bigger.
How?
But I mean, look at all the stories that they. Like, if you think about, like, the House of M story they tried to weave in, they could have expanded on that. They could have maybe took some other different directions. So
the reality is that why would they do the House of M?
No more mutants.
But why would you do No More Mutants if you have not established mutants in that universe?
Well, that would have been a good way for them to be able to introduce mutants, which I thought would they could have teased it in a very crazy type of way, maybe in an alternate dimension or something. So
here's the thing. Have you, when people are spitballing ideas, have you ever been in the creators room, in the writers room? When people are broadcasting ideas and everything like that.
Yes, I've been in here with you and another guy. I don't know his name.
You don't know his name? I'll just have y'all know. I'll just have you know. He said that. I didn't say that.
But both of you all are spewing like good ideas and throwing a lot of stuff out. So it's cool.
So when you think about, if you think about just that little sample size, imagine what those writing rooms are like. And imagine that they've gone through every last storyline, and they're trying to figure out how to weave all of this stuff into this existing narrative that they've built. And I would like to caution people and let them know the MCU proper is not the Marvel Universe comics.
True.
It is not. They have taken and compacted and made hybrid stories out of a lot of different things. They've taken a lot of different parts, put them together to make one story. So we keep this. To me, it's a silly expectation to expect 1-to-1 at this point when nothing's been 1-to-1 from beginning to end.
Well, I agree. I mean, I guess I would just like to see them expand more on. I was happy to see the way they like developed Monica Rambeau's character.
But that's expansion.
I agree. But I would have liked to have seen them like take it a step further, but kind of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like you got like introduction of teasing a bunch of characters from Isaiah Bradley down to teasing Patriot and stuff like that.
The thing about it is maybe that wasn't WandaVision's mission. Every one of these concepts, every one of these things, stories has their own set mission because they're each their own piece that fits into the mosaic.
True.
The mission of WandaVision was not that. It just wasn't. It was to establish that there is more sorcery-wise than Doctor Strange and what we understood. So you get the establishment of witches, you get the setup of Wanda being the Scarlet Witch, you get all of these things, and to me that's very important. You get her sons who are obviously coming back in some way, shape, or form as the Young Avengers.
Yeah, well, you gotta have them. So I mean, I think that still. That like I think they did a great job. I was satisfied with the show. I've been satisfied with Falcon and the Winter Soldiers thus far. I just like to see them like tackle some different issues and dive deeper into it. Like
different issues, dog. We just had a love story that was played out as every TV sitcom known to mankind. You got witches. You get all of this stuff. Then you got Monica Rambeau becoming the superhero.
That.
So what more do you want out of a television show?
Out of a television show.
What more do you want? Out of an 8 episodes. This is not the 12. This is not like the 80s and 90s where we did 13, 24, 32 episodes for a season. They gave you 8.
And I appreciate that. I still would just even with them introducing new shows, just for them to dive into some more characters and really expand and let some other people.
But they're doing that.
I know. So I'm just being like, I guess.
So wait a minute. So basically you're the kid that you're Homer. You're Homer Simpson.
Now I'm Homer. Oh, Marge, I want to see him do something cool. Just wait. Wait.
You're being Homer Simpson with the forbidden donut. More. We remember when he went to hell and the devil kept feeding him donuts and he just kept eating the donut and he just said more.
Yeah.
More. Yeah. See, that's the problem.
Take my money. Charge me more. I like to see more.
But that's the thing. They gave you way more than
they did.
They gave you way more than I thought they would do in any type of a television series.
But I would like to keep seeing the storylines keep developing and keep seeing them expand the universe.
Well, the universe is expanding.
And I'm grateful to it. And I hope it continues that.
But see, that's the thing. You have to let it play out. That's the thing. It's like a spectator sport. Yeah, it's like having a football team. Like when we had the St. Louis Rams. The Rams would throw for a touchdown. First play of the game, everybody was like, okay, that's how they're going to play. And then they do a war of attrition for a second. Run Marshall Faulk. People get, well, why are they doing it like this when they're like this? Because they didn't expect the home run pitch. Or they didn't expect the touchdown throw on the first play. Now they're expecting it, so now we're going to beat their heads in. Now we're going to throw for a touchdown again. You have to switch it up.
I agree. I mean, like, and even going from WandaVision to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you still get the switch up. And it's good to be able to see them developing a whole nother different like story, telling it from a whole nother different angle.
And they're still referencing things that happened in the series before.
Agreed.
So let's not be those guys. Let's not be those guys.
All I'm saying is I would like to keep encouraging them to keep pushing the boundaries and giving more.
So here's my response to that. You ain't got to encourage them. You ain't got to encourage any creator to push the boundaries. That's what creators want to do.
Well, sometimes corporate doesn't want you to push the boundaries.
Well,
we can go over back to our other favorite like universe, DC.
Hey, no, that's your favorite universe.
No. I'm just saying, like, you know, it was like one of the things we talked about at Soundwave Comic Expo. You know, the DC panel, the Cape Spook that's set by the door. You know, I mean, they haven't developed those characters that really should have been developed and given them their just due shine.
Well, that's how you all feel.
So you feel they have?
No, I don't feel anything, honestly. If you really want to know the truth, I really don't feel anything. Because
DC, huh?
No, because you have to understand. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think a lot of people do not understand. When it comes to Warner Brothers, when it comes to Disney, when it comes to NBC, Universal, when it comes to any of these Paramount, when it comes to them, when it comes to the franchises that they have, that you love, that you have fan fiction for, that you have conventions for, at the end of the day, we don't own those characters. We could say, oh well, we make them popular. Yeah. Trust me. They faced fan backlash before, and what they realize is kind of what drug dealers realize about dope fiends. You'll get mad at me, but you'll be back. You'll accept it, and you'll come back.
Well, of course, we're going to just chime in and see what's going on a little bit. But, you know, it would still be nice to be able to have, like, even with the Snyder Cut. I mean, I would have liked to have seen, like, Martian Manhunter really be in there, because Martian Manhunter is a strong character. They should have eventually maybe had slid into Green Lantern for real.
Why? Why?
I'm not a Green Lantern fan except for Jon Stewart. I like Jon Stewart.
I mean, but I don't dislike Hal. I just think Hal's a boring character. But my thing is, and this is something that unfortunately I have found to be true. The WWE is the biggest wrestling promotion in the world.
I remember where it used to be the WWF.
Yeah. Well, everybody hates the WWE. They hate the storylines. They hate that Vince is still running the place. They hate that he's running the place into the ground, that he doesn't promote new wrestlers. He keeps bringing in part-timers. Excuse me. Excuse me. He's doing... Oh, man. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. Now we all just got it, huh?
Yeah, you just all got it. And super spreader. But everybody gets mad. Everybody gets mad at Vince for everything that he does. Every decision that's made, the creative, all this stuff. Guess what? 2 weeks from now, it's going to be WrestleMania. Probably 1 week from now, when you guys hear this podcast, be WrestleMania. And everybody that could get a ticket will get a ticket. Yeah. They keep coming back.
Well, we always are.
And everybody says, well, you got to speak with your money, but they can't stay away. This is what I'm trying to tell everybody when it comes to Marvel, or i.e. Disney, Warner Brothers, i.e. DC. They don't have any incentive to do anything but what they feel like doing. And no, there's no nay. There's absolutely no nay. Fans been complaining. They say for 15 years, we hate John Cena, we hate John Cena, we hate John Cena. John Cena said, hey man, I'm about to retire and go do these movies. All of a sudden fans loved him. You don't think Vince noticed that? Vince been noticed that.
Yeah, but I mean, John Cena is actually a nice guy. I
love John Cena.
I mean, I actually met him in Texas once.
Yeah, no, it sounds like everybody that's met him personally, they say he's a great guy. But you have the old school fans, quote unquote, that only think that the Attitude Era was great. They hated John Cena. The kids loved John Cena, and when he got ready to retire, they was like, "No, come back." Vince knows this. He knows what it is. You'll hate it, you'll love it, but you'll always come back. And I don't have to do anything you want me to do.
Well, I mean, I see where you're going with that. I still just feel like, like as much as I like Batman, I love like the characters that are inside the DC universe. They still could do more and expand more. Like the Snyder Cut movie is a good example. I mean, look how much Cyborg that they cut out of it. And it was technically not necessarily a whole new film, but it was a lot of different insight and character development that just went to the cutting room floor and just stayed there. So
basically you watched all 4 hours.
I like to have a life too. I need a break. So yeah, I just sat there at 1 or 2 in the morning,
I couldn't. I still haven't done it, bro.
I popped open a Red Bull, just
I'm not. If I gotta pop open a Red Bull to watch a movie, dog, I'm not about to watch a movie.
That's just how I unwind, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, why is it that you have to watch a 4-hour movie to unwind? What is it that you're doing that has you just so that stressed out?
I'm getting laid off from the 4Sight Studio podcast.
No.
That's what's happening.
No, quit. Quit.
I've been laid off away from it. He just sent me away.
No, don't avoid the question, buddy. What have you been doing that you feel like you got to sit around for 4 hours and watch the Snyder Cut? Because I can't dedicate 4 hours to a movie.
I just wanted to just watch it in this.
You curious?
Yeah, I was just curious.
See, and here's the thing, man. This is what I find interesting about you. You're a creator. So I find it interesting that you can sometimes err so heavily on the side of the fans. Not to say that the fans are wrong, but I do feel that sometimes the fans are a little overly entitled.
Oh, I think sometimes they can go overboard, but that doesn't mean like I can't sit there and just I wish for stuff too and like to see different things.
No, and don't get me wrong. I want everybody to have their opinions, and I want you guys to be invested. I definitely do. But I do want people to understand that at some point the creator does have to create, and I think that's the thing that I fight for the most is for the creator's ability to create, not only from the interference of the corporate interests.
Agree.
Who are basically only about the money and how much and the rankings and the numbers and all this stuff, but from overly zealous fans who basically are like, well, I want to, you have something, you're doing something, so I want to horn in on this and I want to force my creativity or force my creative idea down your throat because I think what I could do is better, even though you didn't take the time to come up with your own original idea.
And I think, and let me clarify this and be straightforward. I think that it's always good to, like I said earlier, like listen and heed some suggestions. Like it's good to give a little fan service. But as a creative, you should have free reign to be able to create what is inside your mind and inside your vision. Free from the interference of the corporate machine, free from the interference of just about anything, but it's always good to just be able to just see kind of what the fans are wanting sometimes, because they are the ones spending the money sometimes. And you don't give them everything, but you can give them a bone or two here and there, and that's all I'm just saying.
So the thing, my pushback on that is that most of us have already planned out the beginning, middle, and end of the story. We know the road that.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You don't know. Stop lying, please. Stop lying. I'm not gonna allow you to pretend that you don't understand that.
All I'm saying is, I think that I enjoy being able to sit there and like find different ways to be able to, just like even doing a show like as a DJ. I know what sometimes people are waiting. They're waiting for that one particular song. So I find different ways to sometimes bury it and tease it and then just give it to you. And then when I give it to you, it's like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, well, see, that's the same thing that the creators are doing. They're going to give you what you want, but it has to be when they're ready to do it. And as a DJ, as a creator, I would think that you would be more on that side of things, because you do have to have that flexibility to be able to do that. You can't just bend to the wind. Like, you've even told me stories about how people have just come up and just had a suggestion or had a request, and you're like, look, we're going to get to that. And they've been a little bit
they've been tested,
been too pushy.
And, you know, here's my money. No, you here you go. You know, I got it. Here you go. You need this.
They for real pull out just $1 bill.
It's $1 bill. And you just be like, you just be like, what the hell is this? I'm like, then you get the one guy, you know, I know how tough it is, and you need this money. I really need $1. Word?
Well, obviously, if you haven't played the song yet, now obviously they want to hear if it's up and it's stuck. So if it's up and it's stuck, they think that it should go after WAP. You know, you might play WAP, and you might have something else ready to go.
A lot of times I have some hidden things that I like to mix around, and I technically am a themester. Like, so I keep a theme inside the mixes. So that's dope. That's dope. And I wasn't even like purposely even trying to do that at one point. It just kind of just happened. Somebody's like, "Hey, I catch the themes in it." I'm like, I sat back and thought about it. I'm like, "Oh, I do guess there's a theme that's going on."
So that's kind of like an organizational thing that you do just off rip.
Not really. I mean, it's just pretty much. You know, it's just like I just be trying to tell a story through the music sometimes. But it's no different than like you telling a story through your drawings. So, you know, even like to why did this particular item get placed right here? Why is this like moving in this type of way, even from the angles and the view? You know, it would surely be nice to be able to see that in a book.
Keep playing with me. You won't never see that book.
I just ain't gonna never see this book.
You ain't gonna never see it.
You know, I just say it. But it's like it's still being able to watch like you and Ike and whoever else is like in the room create that type of stuff. It gives you an appreciation of like how stories are just being told through the art. So, you know, I mean, you know.
But do you really understand the and I know you do to a certain extent. But do people really understand that? Do you really understand it? Because you've seen it. Because I think honestly, as a creator, and this is one of the reasons why I push back against the fans so much, because the creative process I love it. I love it to death. But I think I've said it on a couple podcasts too. It's very it can put you through a lot of stuff.
Oh, it can.
And I know you know this. You damn near went crazy doing one of your productions.
Wow. For the record, I never go crazy.
Bro, please.
I've never gone crazy.
Oh, you went crazy.
I got control of this camera right now, so I can hold this frame for a minute.
You can hold it.
I've never went crazy.
No, you lost it.
I've never. When did I go crazy?
Right when Superheroes of Blackness was in full steam, and you was just everything was an issue. Everything
wasn't an issue. It was like, if I'm being transparent, that was a production that was being produced in a lane that I totally was not familiar with. Like, I never did an animated character, so I don't understand. This is new to me. So I never did an LED wall. That was new to me. I never had to sit there and put the character coming to life and being animated on an LED wall and all of that.
And
stuff.
That's the reason why I said you damn near went crazy.
I didn't go crazy. I just was trying to. I hate not being able to understand thoroughly the whole process of how this actually happens.
Welcome to being the creator, Lamar. Welcome to being the creator. We never thoroughly understand it. No. Sometimes you just wing it. And that's the stressful part. It's not that you're wrong. No. It's not that you're wrong. In fact, I completely agree with you. Not knowing sometimes and not understanding is extremely stressful. Now, as a artist, a comic book artist, a creator, there are times I don't know how I'm going to get it done.
I agree.
And that is stressful. So when I said you damn near went crazy, it's not that I'm clowning on you. It's because that stress of not knowing, but having a deadline looming, and you're like, okay, I got this building. It's people that bought these tickets. How the hell am I going to make this happen when I don't understand what he's talking about? He's talking about this. This LED wall is looking crazy right now. Why does this look like this? I'm about to choke somebody.
Well, and that goes back to a very basic thing. And that was probably the first time you actually seen me like in full throttle mode of running from point A to point B to point C to D to doing everything that I have to do. When it comes to like music, I can create stuff like that on the spot because I understand the whole realm of that. Just like you understand about drawing and being a creative in art. Like the music was that's my whole world.
So imagine if I tried to do a production like you and I had to put music together, which I have admittedly said I do not. I love music to death. I tried to be in the band, found out I have no musical skill whatsoever. So it's the same thing, and that's what I'm talking about. Even in what we do, what I do, there are things that are. Even in the creative process, I understand how to set up a comic book page. I understand how to tell a story visually. Wow, just terrible. What kind of operation is this?
This is the 4Sight.
This is the 4Sight podcast. That's what kind of operation this is.
Now it's just gonna buzz on the table.
It's just gonna buzz on the table. But I understand how things should go. And then the reality is those things don't always go the way I want them to. So I have to have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Just like when you're doing the music. You can say, hey, I understand the music all you want to, but the creation process of music, every musician I ever known that creates music, they love it and it drives them crazy. As artists, that drives us. When I say drive crazy, the creative process. It racks your brain in a way I don't think people truly understand.
But you know what? The one thing I would say that inside the creative process, when I can understand how other creatives work and how technically the job needs to get done or is getting done, it actually helps me formulate the story better now. Because like I said, sitting and watching you work, I have a whole nother appreciation of how storytelling is being done from frame to frame to panel. Even doing this, what we're doing now, this is a whole nother different appreciation for the cinematography and understanding the audio engineering, how all those things come together.
And
so
that's
now
amazing.
the next time when somebody sits there and says, oh, it's gonna take me 7 days to do all that, you was a lie. And I ain't got no problem with saying you lying to me because we now know and understand. I understand it a little bit better. So you can't get all my money.
But here's the caveat to that. And this may sound a little bit narcissistic, and it probably is.
Uh-oh.
But
hold it closer.
Like with myself and Lorenzo, we prided ourselves on being fast with what we're doing and efficient. As you choke to death. This is Lamar Harris. He is now choking.
4Sight podcast.
This is the type of operation that we run right here, folks. So, what I would say, and getting back to what I'm saying, the reason why sometimes I don't want people setting their baseline by how I produce is because it's different.
Right.
And I've dealt with other artists. The process for them is different. And some of them don't write, they just draw. Some of them, they draw, and they draw everything. Right. They draw everything beautifully. But that's time intensive.
Agreed.
So if you get an artist that's drawing every crack on the wall, you have to account for that.
Right.
So when somebody says, it's 7 days, and you're like, no, I work with Dave. It's 5 days. No, you can't do that.
I agree, but sometimes it's and this is where like I think like being like understanding business and being a good business person helps out. If you know that a client needs something in a certain amount of time, don't promise X, Y, and Z if you know you don't have that time to be able to deliver those things. But what?
You've never dealt with any other artists, then.
I mean, but
that's what they do,
and some do.
No, ain't no some. Most are, especially look if they under 30, most artists are trying to they're over promising and trying to over deliver. Especially when they're freelancing.
And I understand it
because they're outside of the studio systems and all that type of stuff. Most artists, they're trying, and I don't think they mean harm.
No.
They are saying, hey, I need money. He has a job. He says I need it by this. I can do that. And then 48 hours into the 72 hour deadline, shit, I can't do this.
We messing up. But that's where it comes down to being able to be transparent and actually develop a good relationship and saying, hey, I may need a couple days extension, or hey, I know we said this, said that.
A lot of them not good businessmen, people like
but
that.
In this day and age, and the way I think the market is going for entrepreneurs, your business skills are going to start dictating some of
they're not entrepreneurs. That's what I keep trying to tell people. A lot of them aren't. They should be. I agree. I understand. Trust me. The industry I deal in, you have to see the scuttlebutt in that industry. When people from the outside look into the comic book industry, they're looking like, what the fuck is this?
Oh,
it's not.
It's and I
business minded,
and I get it. Everybody's out here trying to hustle, trying to get the bag. And
no. That's the thing. Some of them don't even understand how to get. They're not even looking for the bag. They're looking to continue with their hobby, their love, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and see, that's fine if that's what you want to do. I'll go get the bag for you and get it and put it in my pocket.
But see, that's the mistake I think you're making, because I don't think you can get the bag for other people.
Well, no. I'd say like for you, meaning that if you don't want it, okay, cool. I'll go make the money, because I'm going to go deliver what I said I'm going to deliver if I did choose to do business with X, Y, and C.
And they're always going to, and they're going to come back and say, well, I could have done that, and then you have to look at them like, could you really done it?
Yeah, I mean, and it's cool. Like I said, we do stuff like, the whole phrase for a long time was to be like, oh, we're doing it for the culture. We're doing it for the culture. I mean, like, yo, I got rent, I got a car note, I got insurance.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I'm a step away from being homeless. So I need, it's a little bit of a different type of hustle and priority. All I think I just want artists to identify with is, if you in the game, you say you want to be in here like to do this full time for a living, there are certain things that you should work on to be able to make your business the best business that you possibly can. And the one thing I remember, Bishop Holloway said this a long time ago. The one thing that any person has in this world is your name and your word. What goes with your name travels with you. If your name is undependable, unreliable, can't get this done, robbing folks, lying about this, manipulating, taking advantage, that is what's attached to your name.
That's true.
So, you have to be able to develop things that make sense, that will make your business the best representation of you want it to be.
Well, but my thing is, and all that makes sense, my thing is, I want artists to understand they need to learn business, because I think you're coming from the unique mindset of somebody that is that's successfully running their own business. And when I say successfully running their own business, no, I don't mean that you're driving a Bentley or you're living in the biggest mansion in the world. But
no, you won't pay me that money.
No, I won't. I will not.
But here's this new order.
That's right, because the company needed that. I didn't need the art. Trust me, I could have thought of a whole lot of better things to do with that money.
Yeah, but you invest into the craft, and you understand the process.
Right, I understand the process. And the problem is a lot of artists, and especially young artists, I don't think they understand that this is a responsibility, and that, like you said, your word, your reputation is all that you have. So it's kind of up to us as quote unquote OGs, I guess, yeah, to emphasize that. And that's why the reason why I say you have a very unique perspective, because when I say you're running this as a successful business, is that you are completing your jobs, you're getting your clients taken care of, you're going through the daily battles and all that type of stuff. I deal with it all the time myself, and it's even worse when I have we have a client that is very demanding of you.
Fades to black.
But yeah, so when the client is when you have a very demanding client, it's a lot you have to deal with, and you have to be prepared for. Right. And I know that personally, and I know you've seen why I'm saying what I'm saying.
And it even goes to I think even some of the deeper stuff that we ain't even begin to scratch the surface of. Mm-hmm. When you look at everything that artists are going through, and how a lot of different corporations and a lot of different entities who make policy, control policy, want to start technically dictating to what you as an artist, quote unquote, deserves, and the opportunities that you should have or you shouldn't have, or how we should manage those opportunities for you. I know in the music realm, it's getting to be that way.
But I think, here's the thing. I think it's actually going the opposite route. I think the companies are losing their power.
I think so too. But, who's picking up that slack and taking on money? Let's say government money and government grants. Grants that are given from, let's say there's $700 million that's given mm-hmm. for artists to be able to create, mm-hmm. develop their own business. Where does that money land? Does it land in another non-for-profit or another entity that will, quote unquote, distribute this money? How much of that money will actually make it into our hands before we get the $5,000 grant or the $10,000 grant? Y'all just
or the $1,000 grant.
Y'all got $700 million. Where's the rest of this money go? To research and development?
And I get that. That's kind of one of those things. It's one of those things as a guy that's running his own business, entrepreneur, that I try not to think about that much, because it's a headache.
It is.
It is a headache. So the one thing I do rely on is building up influence. I hate the word, but the influencer route for artists is the route to go, because the one thing that will keep you fed all night long is the greed of corporations. If a corporation know you got 5,000 to 10,000 people on waiting for your production, podcast, YouTube videos, whatever, we'll start giving them at least. Well, let's even give them free stuff. Okay, well, if you're doing, like, say for instance, with me, I do product reviews. If companies are saying I'll start giving them free stuff, that helps me out. Yeah. Now I ain't got to spend. Now I can kind of reduce my budget, because I was buying these products at first. Now I don't have to buy these products. Then when you get to the 20,000, 30,000 follower fans range, that's when you start getting paid promotions.
Right.
And that's when corporations, and trust me, we all know that corporations are underpaying the influencers, right, the YouTubers and everything like that. Because if they were paying the old rates, it would be much higher.
The real marketing rate?
Well, here's the thing. Here's my pushback on that. Is that really the market rate? Because again, when those rates were set, it's under an older system in which the infrastructure was different.
Agreed.
When you're now not dealing with 45 other people, managers and all that, you're just dealing with one to two guys, and you say, and you take an ad campaign, and you drop $1 million budget to $100,000 budget, but then you give these guys $100,000 to four guys.
If they're getting the job done and they're doing what you need them to do,
right?
And I think that's something that as a business owner you have to negotiate. What is the scope of work? Are you able to deliver that? And can you honestly sit there and sell that idea to a company that will sit there and pay that rate? There's nothing wrong with that.
And those rates normally are lower than if you were to go through these much larger entities under the old rules.
Agreed, but like you said earlier, some people want to take more and more shortcuts to kind of but
see, I also think that companies again are greedy, and the one thing they're also good at noticing is who's not the most honorable of people. And when I say most honorable of people, I mean that when we're in this world and we're probably coming in much lower than, say, what it used to be.
Right.
There used to be an honor system like, look, man, we ain't going to go below this level.
Right.
You know and I know, don't take much for a motherfucker to go cut you.
Oh.
To undercut you in a second.
But see, also the other thing you have to kind of worry about, I know from the music end, there's only so many different places to perform, especially right now during COVID until everything opens back up completely. And you got all these people fighting for these same little time slots. The venues only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's only open a certain amount of time. So you have all these people who, I'm holding the line. You can't be holding the line. They're not paying you $1,500, $1,700 to perform a night.
Right.
And yes, we all do, I think to a certain degree, deserve that type of money, depending on what it is that you're doing, depending on how much time and level of skill set and entertainment that people are willing to pay for. But the one thing I always try to impress upon artists is stop letting these people eat off of the table all the time that we're drawing people. If you're able to sit there and pack out a house and they're charging $25 at the door, the place holds, let's say during COVID, 100 people.
Right.
You're getting food, they're selling, you don't get a cut of that. The bar, you also have, if they're doing valet parking, whatever else they're offering, they're getting that money. And they're paying you this small fraction. You should be able to sit there and open your mouth and not be afraid of backlash, be afraid of being blackballed for being able to sit there and say, hey, I deserve X amount of dollars. Look at the numbers. My numbers warrant me getting this money. But the other thing artists got to be able to do is to be able to sit there and just create your own.
But that's the problem. A lot of the artists, and this goes back to a lot of the artists are just not business people, because they're going to look at, they gave me a number, I'm good with this number, I don't want anything else.
But if you're good with the number, don't get mad and sit there and be in the corner talking about, yeah, they need to give me this, yeah, they need to give me that.
Well, no, they don't even know what they need to give them. And then when they do, or they realize it, and then that's when they get resentful and well, they should have did this for me. And it's no, nobody's obligated to do anything for you. No. Nobody's obligated to tell you anything. You have to understand your value, and you have to be willing to stand on that, and you have to be willing to piss some people off.
See, that's the difference right there. Cats ain't willing to stand on everything. They'll get that lip service in the secret, and then when we out doing the gig over with, but are you really, truly about this life and really to stand and stand up against that type of stuff? That's one thing I would say that if I had to say what I've been doing the last several years, I've been quietly fighting that type of battle, because it's I work hard. I gig hard. I try to give when I'm performing. I try to give the best that I have to offer, and that's everything I got in the arsenal. And I will go up and beyond. Sometimes even what's even like requested. And you should be able to, as a business owner, which I consider myself to be a business owner, to be able to get a certain amount of money without having to sit there and have all these extra rules. Nobody should be coming in trying to own you as an artist to dictate, you can't perform there. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can only do what I allow you to do. I pull your strings. I'm the one that's responsible for your career. I had somebody tell me they're responsible for my career. You responsible for my career?
That's what? Some people will believe that. They'll believe that in a hot minute.
And that's problematic.
Yeah.
But the way I tell people, you want to hit some of these people, hit them in their pockets. Somebody's like, well, I'll make sure you'll never. I've had somebody say, I'll make sure you never perform in this town ever again. Like, oh, okay, word. That's cool. And they were almost kind of quietly on the path of making that happen. And somebody just kept saying, "You just resilient, ain't you?" I mean, I was raised by Joe in Georgia. That's what that's how that gets down. Somebody sit there and tell we will find a way or
you create a path, right?
You have no choice.
But again, there's a lot of people that aren't. They don't. It's not that they can't. They don't know they can, and those tactics work against them.
True.
And that's the thing that is the hardest part about being a businessman, entrepreneur in this game, because you know the one fight you're going to have.
Yeah.
It's this other fight, and it's the toughest fight ever. But
are you willing to go that extra mile? How much are you willing to sacrifice? How much are you willing to lose?
And obviously, some people aren't willing to lose anything.
And there's nothing wrong with it. If you're not really willing to do all that, that's cool. Nobody's judging you.
I am.
I'm just gonna keep breaking this third wall. Really?
I am. I'm judging on life.
But but my thing is, don't sit there and keep trying to put up hurdles against people that are trying to fight down. Like
no. But see, that's the thing. That's what you're missing. I have to put up a hurdle against you, because if you're fighting for something I don't believe in, and I believe that what you're fighting for might take from me, I can't allow you to be successful in your efforts, even though what you're fighting for is going to do quite the opposite. It's going to provide for me.
Exactly. And
that is the problem that entrepreneurs and solo creators face. I see it in the industry that I operate in. I see it in the industry you work in. I see it in the industry we both co-work in. You see what happens. Cats will go out, get a camera and say they can do this, that, and the other, and then they see you doing this, that, and the other, and they will do whatever it takes to undercut you and to stop you.
But sometimes the way I've figured out somehow this is just my little mentality. Sometimes I don't tell everybody everything I'm doing. Like, a lot of people didn't know I even did any of this. I've been pretty, I pop up every now and then, but I'm so far kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Because if I can work in the shadow like I need to, I'll get something done and that I need to get done. And by the time you do try to throw up the roadblock and hurdle, it don't matter, because I done went to another part of the building.
And that's one of the things that I've observed and have picked up from you. And I've always acted on it in a sense, but I think I'm more conscious of that. Hey man, look, keep your head down. Don't talk about nothing until it's already done. And the reason being is because it's rough out there, man. And I've seen it with you. I've seen it with other artists. I've seen it with other DJs. I've seen it with people that are moving and shaking. Most people you know. Most people you know who are moving and shaking, who are of the same mindset as you and myself and the other entrepreneurs that are working in these industries. But I see it, and it I feel away, but then I also feel away because, like you said, the resiliency and the ability to bounce back.
We ain't got no choice. I mean,
we ain't got no choice.
And at some point, like I said, I think I am personally at an age right now where I can take these kind of risks, and I can sit there and go a little differently, because I don't have, I think sometimes you have to measure out what it is that you would be losing. If I had like wife and kid, my decisions may be a little bit different, because there's other things to lose.
Oh yeah.
If my grandparents and my mother was still living, I would probably think it a little differently. Why? Because I've got those type of things to lose. So
I agree with you. I agree.
When you have different priorities, you can move a little differently.
Yep.
But I feel so strongly that I think that I want us as artists. St. Louis has a lot of dope artists, regardless if it's like poets, DJs, graphic designers, creatives, people that can produce. But we just sometimes don't seem like we have the for real infrastructure that's designed to help us propel correctly and better financially as business owners. And that is problematic, in my opinion. And when you see all these different companies and these people pop up with these not-for-profits, and they just sitting there and they're, oh, we're doing this for the artists. We're doing this for the artists. We'll take this, and you just come on over here and we'll manage it for you, because you don't understand how to do that. What?
Yeah, nah, I'm good.
But those are the things that have to be addressed at some point in time. And if we don't take a stand at some point, that's going to keep on happening. And not saying what I'm doing would even be successful at putting a dent in that stuff. But I think at some point in time, you got to at least try. At least said, hey, I at least gave it my all. And I at least sat here. I at least tried to do that. I at least tried to employ people. It's one thing to just sit there and talk about we're doing this and doing that, and you ain't never hired nobody but 3 people, or you ain't never sat there and did anything inside the community. You got to start block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, and start building out that infrastructure. A lot of people don't even know like who all of the people in your neighborhood.
They don't.
Like how many creatives that do great things live here in St. Louis? It
is an unfathomable amount, to be honest with you. And I think what I aim with this, because I don't want to end on a downer or anything like this, is so much creativity and so many opportunities. I think at the end of the day, what we have to do is we have to continue to spread the word and keep people honest about who they are and what they're doing this for.
Right.
And I think if we do that, this landscape will become a little bit better place. Now, again, this isn't a rant against competition. I actually like competition.
You're supposed to have competition. That's the only way you're going to get better.
Right. That's the only way you're going to get better. But what I don't like and what I don't see is sometimes there's honor in competition. Mm-hmm. And even then, when somebody, if you're on the basketball court, you get and you foul a person, it's a flagrant foul. Mm-hmm. You get kicked out the game. They call it flagrant 2. You're out. It's some of you cats out here that's committing flagrant 2s. It's some of y'all committing flagrant 2s, and we just gotta call it for what it is.
They happy jacks. Yeah, that's what they used to call them down. Like when I used to go to Nashville all the time, they used to tell like cats that would be like taking gigs for like all this low pay. They call them happy jacks because they didn't realize you're pushing the money backwards instead of pushing the money forward.
Right.
So but it's
a flagrant 2.
Yeah,
that's a flagrant 2. And we back in the 90s when we were aerosol, we used to make sure everybody was We used to make sure everybody was on the same page. So I'll just say it like that. I don't know if that was actually right, but we used to make sure everybody was on the same page. Those were the days.
I mean, but you gotta, we gotta start somewhere, and you just gotta keep growing and stuff like that. So, and even like you just watching you just grow as even like as a business owner and stuff like that. You in here grinding and working every day. So.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. Grinding and working and making progress, two different things. And it's a level of frustration that comes with that, because you may not see the fruits and this is what I learned. I never see the fruit when I want it. I want it right now. The fruit be like this.
Zoom back in on this oil over here.
And the fruit is like, nah, it ain't time yet, buddy.
Yeah, but you putting in the work though,
But then it blooms when it's ready to bloom. Mm-hmm. So again, when we're on the court, I don't mind competing against anybody. But if you commit a foul and it's a flagrant 2, you need to get up out the game. And if you commit a foul and you get a tech, hey, you just got to pay the penalty for the tech.
And I told somebody something similar to that in a meeting today. I was a little bit more direct.
Yeah, I bet you.
I just don't bite my tongue no more, man. It's like, I ain't got the one thing that I cannot get back is time.
You can't get it back.
When it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone.
So just at least say, like somebody like, guy said that, say you just want to get to it right here and right now, dude, because I got other stuff to do. So,
you're wasting my time.
Just say what you here for. What it is that you're looking for. I'm not looking for anything. Everybody's always
you're looking for something, bro. Come on. And if you can't see this and quiet is kept, this is kind of one of the reasons why I've been moving further and further away from freelancing, because that lack of appreciation for time. So even in my rant, and I'm pulling it back from freelancing. This is my rant to help those that are in that realm, like full time, that are fully in that realm. If you're freelancing, I want you to win. But I don't want you to get the short, and that's the reason why you have to be vigilant against this.
Right.
But with me moving into more of creation and publishing and the other forms of entertainment that comes with, it's just you're trying to move away from those things. I still do some projects and everything,
right.
But just those conversations, I don't do well with them anymore. I really don't.
Yeah.
And I don't do well with them. And that's the reason why my list of clients has shrunk to the people that really honestly respect what my time to a certain extent.
I feel you.
But it is what it is.
It's always good to still have like good collaborations with people and stuff, and that's the one thing I wish. I wish one of the things I'm going to get done this year is something I wanted to do a couple years ago, which is like I want to be able to sit there and bring together and honestly truly pay people their worth for like to do some really dope projects. I ain't talking about bringing like 2 or 3 together. I mean like bring about 100.
But to do that, you got to have the financials, obviously, but you have to have the people backing you that believe in the vision.
Right, and that's where we are. I think is just trying to get to the bag, man, to be able to do these things. And we need people to invest in the arts, and we need people to believe in the arts.
I always and I say this all the time, and I'm in the pod with this. America, not everybody has a wicked jump shot. Not everybody can toss a football 100 miles away. Not everybody can throw a 1,000,000-mile-an-hour baseball, got a good slap shot or whatever. Let's start treating these artists the same way we treat these athletes who deserve the treatment that they get. Don't know, because again, being an athlete that's tough. You have to train your body, and trust me, trying to be disciplined is not an easy thing. So I can say that. But if a person's not athletic but they're artistic, that is a discipline in and of itself.
Right.
If America would view artists in the same light that they view the athletes and supported them
Right.
in a similar fashion, this is a lot. I don't know. Sky's the limit.
Right. But I feel everybody that's at home, the first thing you should automatically do before we get up out of here, and this is just being honest, you got to do one thing if you want to succeed. By this Kwame Hightower book and the Black Love Chronicles on Amazon, available right now. There's no discount code. There's nothing but the full price. And this is on behalf of David Gordon. Not that D, but the other D.
This is a sponsored segment. I fully approve it. And on that note, this your boy Dave. That's Lamar. We might be back to do another one of these. Might have a guest, but this is a format now, and just be prepared for more fun conversations. This is a 4Sight podcast. I'ma holler at y'all later. Peace.